Okay, we're back. This is Amos. With me is Dan, and we're ready to move on to the next stage. So, in bidding strategy. So, let's go to my company, that's your company. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is enter your overhead in here. If you look at your accountant's financial statements, you will see it shown as an expense. However, accountants tend to lump everything together, cost of goods and overhead. And what you need to do is to differentiate between the two of them. So, notwithstanding what the accountant shows, what you need to do is strip that number down to absolute overhead cost or office cost, operation cost. So, the rule of thumb is simple. If you had no work outside, you would need liability insurance. You will need no trucks. You will need no field supervisor. You will need any other costs that are related to the field. And if you strip those out, what remains is your office, salaries in the office, estimator, bookkeeper, rental, utilities, the things that you can get rid of, the things that you need to keep to maintain your company going. That's your overhead.
Amos, a common question that contractors ask us is a project manager overhead or is he cost of goods?
A project manager, if he's hired particularly if he's hired for one particular project and he's working on the project, he's cost of goods. However, if he's in the office managing multiple projects, he's overhead. And the majority of time, project managers in medium-sized companies, they're also estimators.
That's right.
Okay, so that's overhead. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
All right. So the first thing you need to do is enter the number here. For this intended purposes, for Joe Banana Construction, we have entered $150,000 in overhead. Okay, we are ready to move on to the next stage. Within this page, right here in this table, this is where you're going to enter the project that you're bidding that are commercial, that are under $150,000. Okay? Once you've created them, we'll take you to the next level. For this intents purposes, remember that you're starting on July 31st, in August 1st, you're starting with a debt of overhead, $150,000 that you need to cover. So let's take a look at a project that you might have bid in, let's say, June. June, you bid a project called the West Mall, and the project cost is $110,000. Your bid was $149,800. And you didn't happen to get that job. All right, you bid another project in June, and it's called East Mall, and we've got, say your cost is $98,000, you bid that $128,000, and you got that project. Okay, so what you see in here is that project generated $30,000 gross profit, which includes overhead and profit, and it's contributed towards paying down the overhead. You have a goal. By the beginning, by the first quarter of the year, of the fiscal year, you've got to cover the overhead. So anything beyond that becomes pure profit. Now that's a goal. That's not a given, but sometimes we can get there, sometimes it takes a little longer. Nevertheless, this is your first target. You must cover that so you can have your overhead covered and be competitive in future projects. Okay, let's keep going. So in July 10th, we bid a project, North Mall. And North Mall costs $128,000, and we bid $149,000. And yes, we got it. you see what's happening here. We're now at $51,000 towards the $150,000 overhead. Let's keep going. Couple more. In August 28th, we'll be at another project, and that happens to be South Mall. And the cost in here was $115, and you bid it at $150, and you lost it. The bid was too high. All right. You can see in here at 16, you're getting the work. At these markups, you're not getting the work. All right. Let's see what happens here in July. And we bid, and that happens to be and we got that job. We're making headway in here. So you can see that you're getting work at 24% and under. One more, and then we move on to the competition. In September, we've done one more, and that's Semiamo. And it was, your cost is $128, and you bid it at $154, and you didn't get it. Well, what's going on? Okay. All right. So we're ready to look into the competition, see what's happening. We want to know why we didn't get these two projects. Dan, you want to add anything before we leave this page?
Yeah, this is all great. I just want to point out a couple of things. Amos was talking about the fact that each of these projects that you win pays towards covering your overhead. If you look to the right, you see this is represented as a percentage for your assistance. You've covered 54% of the amount of money you need to cover your overhead so far. So you can look at that. Over on the right over here is a graph that is forming as you enter information. Some people prefer to see this information visually. This graph is forming and will allow you to see it visually.
Yeah, that's true, Dan. However, this graph is for your benefits just to look at your company, but you'll find this graph is a critical tool as you look at your competitor. This graph was created more for us to look at competitors and anticipate where the markup will be at a particular time of the year. So this is just a visual tool for you to see your own company. It doesn't mean much at this point.
Okay.
Ready to go on?
And we're ready to move on to the next.
Okay, thanks, Dan.